Today's topic is emotional intimacy. You happy with that?
I'm happy with that.
So with the couples that we work with, I would say that across the board, that is a topic that comes up, that people always want more emotional intimacy, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
And it's beautiful. Like, why wouldn't we want more of that? So what we realize, though, is that if somebody wants to have more emotional intimacy with their partner, it really starts with themselves having more room and space for their own emotional experience. And it's very common to think that somehow having more emotional intimacy with someone else is going to take away our own pain and suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And really, that's not how it works. And of course, I had to learn this the hard way. Are you following me?
I am following you.
You look like you had a question.
No, I don't have a question. I have a realization.
Go ahead. I'm curious.
Well, it's not. I don't think it's anything new under the sun. And there was a part of me that went off on a little bit of a tangent.
What is your tangent?
Well, I feel like when you say, that people are looking for intimacy, yeah, I think that's great. But I still feel like I think that a lot of people in relationship get into trouble because they're trying to sort of fill that spiritual void in a sense.
Yes.
They're looking for happiness. They're looking for love in kind of the wrong place. It's like really their partner is not responsible for providing them with that love.
Yes.
That love has to be found within. Maybe I'm just jumping the gun. You were going to get to that anyway, but that was just a thing that occurred to me in that moment. It's just, isn't it so obvious when you think about it that when couples get into trouble on this level, it's because they're expecting them to fill that gap that can only be filled by themselves. It's not the person's responsibility, and never should be, or is ever their responsibility.
Hence why I said start with yourself. Was that the hint?
Well, I just wanted to join up the dots a little bit more.
Thank you.
I guess I interrupted the whole unfoldment of this.
I could see that glimmer in your eyes, so I was curious.
Oh yeah, no, it's just interesting. I'm just feeling like there's a way to distill it down into something that's really simple. I think we're looking for ways to fill that void of that, that spiritual void that really people get into trouble with. And go ahead. I feel like I've interrupted enough.
No, it's fine. Well, I was going to say that it's the void of the experience of your own spiritual nature.
Yeah.
People are yearning for more deeper connection with those deeper feelings of love and expanded, I don't know, it's hard to even know what to call those feelings, but the feelings that we get when we're connected with that deeper part of ourselves.
Yeah, well, I think that this is it, again, for me, is that the relationship becomes the obvious avenue to experience those kind of emotions, those feelings, which we definitely on some level equate with the impersonal. We're all on that spiritual journey looking for that idea of well-being, a reality of well-being that is in the impersonal. But it's so easy to sort of make the relationship the responsible party in trying to find that because of, I guess the confusion of, the idea that, we fall in love, or maybe a lot of that is to do with lust and excitement.
All of the cultural conditioning
told that
is outside of ourselves.
Yeah, all of the hallmark conditioning, let's say, that's outside of ourselves. And it can easily become yet another avenue that we're looking for that gap to be filled. Mm-hmm. Some people, it's like, I need to buy a big house, or I need to buy a new boat or a Bentley or whatever. It can be, the same sensibility can be directed towards relationship. I need to fill this hole.
Yeah.
And if they're not doing it, then that's generally when the relationship starts to get on rocky ground. Oh, they're not, ticking the boxes in that respect.
Well, that's usually when people start to complain about their partner and start to feel dissatisfied in their relationship. And it's really, what I hear you saying, it's really unfair to put that kind of pressure on a relationship to give someone a task that they can never fulfill.
Yeah.
That they're never going to be able to meet that expectation. And I do think that there's a lot of conditioning that says somehow that our partner is meant to fulfill us in that way, and it's not that's happening. And I write about this a lot in my blogs, where we get confused because we fall in love and we get this incredible experience of having our mind clear, and we just feel those beautiful feelings, and then we think that those beautiful feelings are coming from the other person, when actually those beautiful feelings are coming from being in the present moment and not having a lot of stuff on our mind.
Yeah.
And when we fall in love, it's so beautiful, because that's what it feels like when we don't have anything on our mind. It's a beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
And it's not about the other person. It's actually about how we've let go of all of our insecure thinking temporarily, and it happens through grace in those moments. But when we start to understand how that works, we get better at being on the learning curve of not having things on our mind.
Yeah, isn't it so funny how, you know, the idea of a couple getting together can kind of pull the wool over your eyes in that sense. It's like, oh yeah, there it is. It's like, there is that hole being filled, because it has all of the qualities of the impersonal, like compassion, love, understanding, humility, etc., etc. And yet then all of a sudden when we realize, yeah, you know, oh, they're not that knight in shining armor anymore. There's something else that's very alien to my thoughts and standards and expectations around what that should be, that field of the impersonal. And then they fall off their horse, and then it's kind of like, and then there's this sort of downward spiral. Having understanding is letting us realize it's like, yeah, that's just a good reference point for that field. But that field is what we need to look for, not in our partner or in any other external situation or circumstance or thing.
And that when we are aware of that and we don't put the pressure on the other person, then we remember to look within for that experience. And that's why I'm saying that really, if anybody's experiencing a desire for more intimacy in their relationship, the place to start is in with more intimacy with yourself. And what do I mean by that? I mean by having room for all of your emotional experience, by having the space to be intimate with being human, with your human experience, and to allow all of that to be okay. That when there's room for all of that, when we have the ability to be open-hearted with ourselves in that way, then we are able to access those deeper feelings. We're able to have an experience of who we are beyond our thoughts and our feelings, and drop into those deeper feelings, and ultimately we get resourced and filled up from that space, and we get to enjoy that with our partner too.
Yeah, you know, and what's also interesting to consider, well, maybe it's just blatantly obvious, maybe I'm just the remedial human student, but it's not just about, you know, our intimate relationships. It could be any relationship, you know, in the sense of how we want that person to fill that gap or that void. That's never their responsibility, but it's so easy to fall into that trap. The ego will take you on that journey in a heartbeat.
Well, it looks like things outside of us or people can take that away from us. Like, I know I fall into that trap. Let's say, you know, one of our daughters is angry with me and they've said something not very nice. I can take that personally at times, and it will feel like they did something to me, when nothing actually in what they did took that experience away from me. It's everything to do with where I went in my own mind.
No, exactly. And when you see it that way, and then you see beyond what you will do and go and where you will go with your own mind, and look at it from a more impersonal vantage point, then you just see suffering, and then you can have compassion, and it's the compassion that I am sure will disarm the other individual who's getting caught up, because there's nothing for them to bump up against. You're not engaging with them at that level. So it's fascinating in that sense. It's like, yeah, all roads lead to Rome. We look we look towards the impersonal, our essential nature, where there is no judgment. There's just love and well-being. We kind of see our human experience from that vantage point, vis-a-vis spiritual beings having a human experience. Then it's so much easier to see the suffering in the other person's human experience. They recognize that in your eyes, and I feel that's disarming. That will allow them to sort of, first and foremost, they've got nothing for their ego to bump up against, and that has to be the process of recovery or health, or a return to that well-being that they're looking for in the first place, that they feel is missing. Is that the computer beeping?
Yes.
I guess the computer's had enough for one day. Computer says no.
I I guess we're done. Have a
Yes,
good
we're done.
weekend.
I thought that was a good punctuation point. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye.